All America, all the time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for The Dan Bongino Show.
Folks, I listen, it's... You guys, they're already laughing. It's a... Is it... Do you have Lucky Trump? Justin, you just throw up Lucky Trump. This is the luckiest guy. I'm telling you, I've never seen anything. There he is. Lucky Trump. There he is. Got to point in the opposite direction on the camera. We did that first time, man. Amazing. Just Lucky Trump. Did you see just before the show one live? Now I got to go the other way. Just before the show starts, the Iranians who, what did we say yesterday, fellas, ladies in the audience? Donald Trump, who never has a plan, right on top. Now he's taking over my show, Lucky Trump. It's the Lucky Trump show, not the Dan Bongino show. So just to be clear, yesterday, because unlike the doomers, the black pillars, the dipshittery class, the media, the DC swamp, and the other imbeciles who are consistently outfoxed by President Trump, they're like, he had no plan. He had no plan for Iran, for the Strait. Remember just 3 weeks ago? He had no plan. And I put out a tweet, oh, there's a plan. I'm sure of it. And people were like, you know what you're talking about. Amazing. The Iranians are like, the Iranians now, who just 7 days ago said, we are shutting down the Strait, and the media, Jasmine, right? The media was like, yes, the Iranians won. Yes. Our death to America, Mullah buddies won. The media was so excited. And Trump said, you want to shut down the Strait? Double barrel middle finger to you. I'm shutting down the Strait. You think you're shutting down. And the Iranians were like, damn, what do we do now? Because as I said on yesterday's show, you're constantly ahead of the news cycle here. The Iranian oil tanks can only fill up to a certain amount where you have to start to drain them, or the entire delivery system to the tanks starts to get damaged. Kind of like what happens with our SPRO as well. Strategic Petroleum Oil Reserve. It happens on our end too. You have to refill and drain these things and keep the pipelines moving. The Iranians can only have done this for about 2 weeks. We're a week in, and now this morning, and I'm going to get this a little more later, I was going to start the show with something different, but I have to laugh at you idiots in the black pill doomer media swamp class. You're constantly effed by Donald Trump because you're so freaking stupid. Stop being stupid. He doesn't do everything right. I don't do anything right. Nobody does. But you saying 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago, he has no plan, and then he implements a plan, the Iranians fold, he wins, and you're going to be like, the oil is now plummeting dramatically. Crude is down right now, 10.5. It's down 11%, $10. How many times are you going to get your balls kicked into your throat? You don't, listen, guys, ladies, you're not obligated in a representative democracy. There is no stipulation in the Constitution which mandates you like Donald Trump. You don't have to do that. You don't have to vote for him either. This is not a dictatorship. But you do have to stop being stupid once in a while if you want to stop looking like a moron with scrambled eggs all over your face every day. It's amazing how many of you continue to humiliate yourselves. I get it with the left-wing media, but the doomers and the gloomers, Trump, he's an Israeli puppet. Really, he's an Israeli puppet. Strange. Because he cuts this ceasefire with Lebanon. Whether you think it's a good or bad idea is irrelevant. And it turns out the Israelis aren't really that happy with it. Here's the way, dipshittery class. Here's the way puppets work. You ever seen a puppet? So you're claiming like the evil Israelis, they're holding the puppet strings. You know the puppet strings, the little crowd, you manipulate the puppets? The puppet master? And Trump's at the bottom doing his puppet thing, right? That's what you're... It's kind of weird. It's like The puppet at the bottom is doing its own thing, sending a signal back up to the string, to the puppet who's supposed to be the puppet master. It's like the actual puppet was the master. So weird how you keep getting wrecked. You are idiots. I have no respect for you at all. You've never done anything. You've never gotten off the sidelines. All you do is with your crank in your hand, sit in the front row of the boxing ring. You don't even sit in the front row because you're too freaking stupid to get seats in the front row. You sit in the cheap seats and you boo and throw popcorn and you never do a freaking thing. You never shut up. You just got wrecked again. This wasn't even the beginning of the show. But in case you missed it, do you have that Wall Street Journal article, Justin, about the Strait? I just want to show you what we're talking about. I'm just so fired up about this because it just happened a little bit ago. I told you the Iranians have to sell the oil in 2 weeks or the system's going to collapse. It's been 7 days. The media people who celebrated, the Iranians beat us, they shut down the Strait. Donald Trump says, I'm shutting it down. Now the Iranians are saying, quote, the Strait of Hormuz is open. Oh, shit. It's like we said yesterday. The Iranians really need to sell the oil. Wall Street Journal, oil prices fall after Iran says Straits of Hormuz are open. My gosh. Are you people serious? Can you be or look any dumber every single day as this guy just backhands you? All right, I got a lot more of Lucky Trump coming up. This guy's just lucky. It's amazing. It's always just luck. It's incredible how I just put this out on Twitter, by the way, if you want to check it out. I will go with the lucky guy who wins. If it's not luck, but even if you believe that, then the unlucky DC swamp losers that consistently lose every day. Why wouldn't you? And it's not even luck. All right, today's show brought to you by one of my favorite products, especially on the weekend. This is actually one of my bottles of Dose. I absolutely love Dose, especially if you're out on the weekend and you're having a couple drinks, glass of wine or so. Dose the next day has some of the best products out there to help you help your liver. They also have a cholesterol product I use. I drop my cholesterol about 30 points. I have the receipts to back that up. Cholesterol's tough for many of us. It's genetic. Paul and I recently discovered Dose, a clinically backed cholesterol supplement that helps target triglycerides, LDL, HDL, and total cholesterol. It worked magic for me. I love Dose. I was using it way before they were a sponsor. Honestly, Dose makes it so easy to be part of your daily wellness. It's just a daily 2-ounce shot. It tastes like mango. It tastes really good. No pills, no powder. You don't have to dilute it. It tastes delicious. Dose uses really high-quality ingredients like turmeric, coenzyme Q10, amla, and other naturally occurring ingredients, and it gets delivered right to your door. Dose is easy to start and even easier to make your part of your self-healthcare routine. You know I'm into healthcare hacks. This is a staple product for me. I actually keep one in the refrigerator in the studio. Dose for cholesterol is a way to get help in taking control of your own health and something that can help delay more intense conventional therapies. Worked for me. I have the receipts to back it up. It gets delivered right to your door. Makes getting the support you need for your health easy to stick to. Right now, new customers can save 35% in your first month of subscription by going to dosedaily.co/Bongino or entering Bongino at checkout. Here's the website, dosedaily.co/Bongino for 35% off your first month subscription. Product works. I absolutely love it, especially after a weekend. These statements and products have not been evaluated by the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition. Fellas, this bottle's actually cold because it came from my refrigerator. Jasmine, at some point, we're going to have to throw that back in there because that's mine. Thank you, Dose. We love you. Lucky Trump strikes again. Now, I'm going to get back to that. But I have to start the show with something else because it is really critical and important given everything that's going on with that scumbag Eric Swalwell, who is just a horrible person outside of every person's innocent until proven guilty. I do not get into pylons when it comes to criminal allegations. Let the process play out. You know I have not been on this case from that perspective. However, I need to show you a video clip. And if this doesn't hammer home a point I've been making to you forever, nothing will. And I'm sorry, but we can't be friends. Folks, this is why I do not get into pylons when it comes to things like the Me Too movement or elsewhere, or it doesn't even have to involve sexual harassment, any kind of allegation of criminal activity. You as a United States citizen are innocent until proven guilty. I have no problem discussing it, but I'm not going to pile on and assume anything because people are entitled to due process, whether it's Andrew Cuomo, whether it's Eric Swalwell, or your favorite politician. You know why I don't get into this stuff? Because this is what happened to Donald Trump. I want you to watch this clip. Here's a golden rule to live by, and you will never be on the wrong side of this issue when it comes to allegations about this guy did this, or this woman did this, or Brett Kavanaugh did this, or Donald Trump did that. Do not believe all women. Believe good evidence. Do not believe all men. Believe good evidence. I'm going to show you this clip. This is a podcast. This is Brad Palumbo, and he has on a friend of mine, CJ Pearson. And he asked CJ Pearson a question about all of these accusations against Donald Trump. I'm going to tell you a quick story afterwards, because this is the whole thing. Like, accusations are accusations. And yes, people who are famous and who have name recognition are treated differently in this space, not legally, but in the accusation space, because more accusations are made against famous people because more people know them. It is a math problem. I'll explain to you what I mean in a second, but watch this clip first, and you'll see exactly how this faulty logic plays out. Check this out.
There are 27 women that have accused President Trump of various forms of sexual misconduct, CJ. Do you think all 27 of them are lying?
I don't know those women, and I don't know all their stories and all their allegations. But at the end of the day, what I do know is who President Trump is. And President Trump, I think, is a man of character. And I think the American people see him as that, which is why they sent him back to the White House. But what I do find interesting is the timing of these allegations. This was someone that, lived in the limelight, was a very successful person before he even ran for president. But it wasn't until he ran against the establishment, ran on holding them to account, draining the swamp, that all of these people came out of the woodworks to accuse him of these things. The same thing happened to Brett Kavanaugh.
So yes, then you think 27 are lying.
The man of character is the one who cheated on all of his ex-wives?
Again, I don't know these women, and honestly, it's something you probably shouldn't be weighing on, Destiny. But when it comes to the fact...
I'm not the president of the United States. Do you want to say the morally equivalent, me and Donald Trump?
I'm glad that you can hold other people to different standards than you hold yourself.
Folks, this clip I saw yesterday drove me bananas, and good job by CJ Pearson. I don't know Brad Palumbo. I know who he is, but I think he's a libertarian. So you're confused as to why a man who's been in the public space like Donald Trump for what, guys, 50, 60 years? I don't know. I haven't done the quick math. You're confused why a guy like that would have a number of people making accusations against him? Let me help you out. When I was doing my time as a protective intelligence agent in the Secret Service, those are the ones that analyze threats, okay? The PI squad back in the day. People who threaten the president get referred to the PI squad. I was in one of the busier ones in the New York field office. Why are there a lot of threats that come out of the New York field office? Justin, any guesses? Because there's a lot of people in New York. We would get probably one or two a day from a crazy person who would call in and say, I'm going to do something to George W. Bush or Barack Obama because they're sending CIA rays into my head. I am not joking. This is not meant to be funny. I am being as serious as a freaking stroke, okay? We would get maybe one of these a day. Say it's one a week. It's not. It was more than that. Say it was just one a week. That's 52 a year. So Palumbo is curious as to how a guy like that could get 27. I wouldn't be surprised if it was more. People do then say this stuff all the time about famous people. There were all kinds of incentives. I'm not telling you everyone's lying about everything all the time. I'm just telling you, why should he be treated different? Because people know who he is. His name is out there in the public space, and he has money. This happens with famous people all the time. Do you have any idea? Did you miss the whole Me Too thing? Where there were legitimate cases that were quite disgusting. And then it spiraled into the Salem witch trials. You're confusing numbers with evidence. Folks, I'm telling you, I don't know how long I was there, a year or so in the PI squad. I must have reviewed probably 25, 30 cases myself. There were like 10 agents in the squad of people swearing that George W. Bush or Obama sent some kind of death ray into their head and they needed a shield for it or they were going to do something. Does that make it real? Why didn't they say Brad Palumbo did it? Because nobody knew Brad Palumbo. But they knew Trump, they knew Obama, they knew Bush. Folks, we do not believe people, we believe evidence people present if the evidence is valid and accurate. Man, do you want to devolve into a society of lunatics where with social media, anybody can accuse anyone of anything? Joey Bag of Donuts stole my puppy. Your puppy's right there in the house. Doesn't matter. I said it. Believe all men and believe all women. This is the numbers fallacy. That just because a number of people with various motives say something, it's automatically assumed to be true. It inverts the entire justice process. That's why I don't get into this stuff. Whether it's Andrew Cuomo, Swalwell, or others. Let him fight it out in court. Yeah, he should resign. The guy should have resigned over Russiagate. He appears to be a scumbag. The video evidence is pretty strong that he was a scumbag. But is he a criminal, though? He's entitled to a day in court like anyone else. I'm really sorry. Some of you didn't like that. I'm not defending anything. I'm defending the process and justice. I'm not defending a person. Folks, this stuff, you want to descend into anarchy and like Viggo Mortensen, The Road? Total chaos? Let's start doing trial by Twitter. Because this is what winds up happening. Folks, dealing with having been on the president's detail and in a PI squad for about 7 of the 12 years I was in the Secret Service, there are more mentally ill people out there than I think you understand. Now, not all mental illness is directly correlated with violence, but some of it is. That's undeniable. And there are a lot of them out there. I don't care what anyone tells you. I've seen it. I've had to go out and run this stuff out and investigate it. When you start pumping out there this guilty until proven innocent BS, crazy people ingest it and do crazy things, i.e. the murder of the healthcare executive up in New York. You see liberals, well, I didn't like what he was doing with healthcare. He doesn't deserve to be shot in the freaking head, you crazy sickos. Well, why are you bringing it up now? Because I just saw this tweet yesterday. Put up this tweet by that Rubenstein guy. Some other lunatic now showed up at the OpenAI guy, Sam Altman's house, with a Molotov cocktail. Adam Rubenstein notes on Twitter, I spoke to the man accused of trying to kill Sam Altman. One of the reporters DM'd him, asking him to elaborate. He says he was interested in Luigiing some tech CEOs, like the accused killer of the healthcare executive up in New York, Luigi Mangione. There's the article right there. Folks, I'm telling you, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not. I know it's like there's a group of people out there that love the conspiracy bullshit and, you know, everybody's guilty until proven innocent. I'm not doing that, and you shouldn't either. You want a republic, then you damn well better try to maintain it. And having a republic means even defending the worst of us sometimes against false accusations because they're going to turn around and come for you. It is only a matter of time before everyone goes down if that's the standard. People accuse people, famous people, of things all the time. When you see it and you live it, you do not get confused by the numbers fallacy. And I'm sorry, I don't have any beef with Brad Palumbo. He's entitled to his opinion and his show, but I think C.J. Pearson did an excellent job debunking that. Just because 20 or 30 or 50 people say something, that 1 million people have said Donald Trump is Hitler with no evidence that's true either. Does that make that true? Do you believe evidence or not? Folks, the problem with false accusations outside of the obvious is they promote a system of distrust in institutions. A distrust exacerbated by the Obama-Biden regime where nobody trusts anything anymore. I know, I lived it. It doesn't matter what we say or what we did in these cases. whether it was Charlie Kirk or the pipe bomb. It doesn't matter. There are people out there, you can slam them in the face with hardcore evidence, and it doesn't matter. They're not interested in truth. They're not interested in process. They're not interested in justice. They're interested in clicks, and they've fallen for the Kool-Aid process. They are now guzzling. They're not even guzzling. They've got an IV main line of the Kool-Aid. There is almost nothing you can do to get them out of it. The best you can do is never fall into it in the first place. False accusations promote distrust. And what does distrust promote? What I'm going to call now the checking out phenomenon, where people are like, I'm done. I'm done with the whole process. I'm not voting. I'm not getting involved. Everybody sucks all the time. You don't have a choice. You live on this rock. Well, you do have a choice. Checking out is a choice. But you live on this rock called Earth, where there's always going to be some system of government, or you're going to have anarchy. There is no other option. It's anarchy or at least some system of government that respects civil liberties. There has to be some coordination in a country of 330 million people. So you're going to have, what do you want to live in? Teepees and a freaking tent? No roads, no nothing, no mail, no internet. No. You really want to go back to, I don't, I'm not interested. So if we're going to have this massive landmass we call the United States, where hundreds of millions of people are going to live here, there's going to have to be some central mechanism by which we coordinate. I prefer that to be a light footprint, as small a government as possible. However, we need something. I notice the people preaching anarchy don't actually live in anarchy. They're more than happy to use their iPhones they got because there's an established system of capitalism in this country protected by contract law. When you totally, completely mistrust institutions, even when we win elections, you get this checking out effect where people just don't want to be involved at all. And I can only remind you of the famous cliche, you may not do politics, but politics does you. I have kids. I'm going to try to make this beautiful republic we have better. Yes, it is an imperfect union. It's never going to be a perfect union. However, it's the best damn union that's ever been tried before, and I'm not checking out on squat. We got midterms coming up, and I got kids to fight for, mine and yours. And I'm not giving up on anything. Which leads me to the GOAT right here. I don't mean GOAT. I mean like greatest of all time. I know you've seen a lot of this Clarence Thomas footage that emerged after he gave one of the most spectacular, it's actually on Fox right now. He gave one of the most spectacular speeches I've heard in like forever. But there's a piece I have still not seen out there from the speech he gave the other day, and it is about exactly this. There is no checking out, folks. There is either fighting for a better government or giving up and getting your balls kicked in. That is it. I don't want my nuts kicked in. You know why? It freaking hurts. I like them just where they are. I want sorry. There, it's on Fox right now. Again, proving to you like the show's live. Some people are like, is that show live? Yes, it's live, I promise. I can't show you my watch. You can manipulate a watch, but that's an actual clock right there that's running on satellite time. So here is Clarence Thomas talking about exactly this, the dangers of, quote, checking out. Check this out.
I think if we don't stand up and take ownership of our country and take responsible for it, we are slowly letting others control how we think and what we think. I think the beauty of going to school is that you learn how to think for yourself. You develop the discipline to think things through. If you think it's losing confidence, then you get up and you participate. You don't sit on the sidelines. You think that the state is being run and inconsistent with how you feel, then you get up and you participate. You prepare yourself. If you think that the medical profession is not right, well, you become a doctor or be a medical person, and you deal with that. I think we need to take ownership of our country. It's our country.
I love this man. I really, guys. I mean that. I get all choked up. I love this man. There is nobody in government I respect more. No one. Nobody. I absolutely adore Clarence Thomas. The absolute GOAT, capital GOAT, greatest of all time. There's no checking out. It's ours. Like, we own this place. It's like a gym we bought with our friends. You don't just say, like, I'm going to let it run itself. Yeah, but we got a guy in the corner complaining about the bench press machine. So put some WD-40 on and fix it, brother. Let me tell you what a good guy Clarence Thomas is. For those of you who haven't heard this story, I'm working a Secret Service detail years ago on Michael Chertoff's front lawn. He was the DHS secretary. We all had to go to what they called DPD at the time, before the president's detail, Dignitary Protective Detail. So I got shipped over to Michael Chertoff's house. Justin, you ever hear this story? I'm sitting there. It's late at night. Clarence Thomas had come over to dinner with his lovely wife, Ginny, who's a friend who I adore. It's pitch black. I'm not going to tell you where they live, but it was pitch black. I mean, it was not like a bright lit moon, like a full moon. You couldn't see anything. So when Clarence Thomas is leaving the dinner, I'm about 25 feet away. I flash a flashlight so nobody trips in the driveway getting to their car. So I'm really just focused on looking around because I'm there to do security, not be like the valet. So I'm looking around, but I'm not really paying attention to anything other than, you know, if there was any like gunmen in the woods or anything, right? So I hear someone says something and I don't really think anything of it because I'm focused on the flashlight. Then I hear it again and he says it louder and I hear, "Have a good evening." And it was Clarence Thomas. And I realized, like, he had said to me, I was some, you know, average Secret Service agent protecting. He had said, "Have a good evening," and I didn't respond. And he wanted to make sure, like, he knew I recognized that he was concerned about how I was, like, it was just, and it was just like, I don't know, it was a small thing, but no one ever said anything to us. Like, we were just like the help, you know? That's how people viewed us. No one ever said anything. And he wanted to make sure, like, I knew he cared, you know? I don't know, just a small thing, but it still to this day, I remember it because that's just the kind of guy he is. The GOAT. There's no checking out. There is no checking out. This is your country. It's yours. You watching right now. You hear me or you see me? I'm pointing at you in live time. This is yours. There is no tapping out. I'm going to show you what happens. I found this clip yesterday. It's along the same lines, but you know I hate racial identity politics. I can't stand it. Nothing offends me more than the idea that you are without agency in your life and some systemic discrimination puppet is controlling everything you do. No, they're not controlling what you do. You live in the freest country on earth. You can do something else. You just choose not to. And when you choose not to and fail, a lot of people want to blame the system, the man. Donald Trump did it. I hate that. And I found this clip of this black preacher talking about how in the black community, voting unanimously for one party is just a tactical nightmare. There is no reason, even if you're a black voter watching the show, black man or woman, I don't care if you vote or not, it's up to you. I have said to you over and over, please, in the name of all that's holy, I am begging you as a conservative Republican to please consider us as a party. If I don't understand how you could be, for people who claim to be, you conservatives are all racist. If we're racist, why would we be practically begging people to consider us as an option? We hate you so much, we don't want you around, we're begging you to be in our party. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Donald Trump's a racist. He gets a lot of black votes. Well, he's a really bad freaking racist. This is a great clip. I'm going to take a quick break, and I want to show you what I mean. I'm asking minority voters who are interested in freedom and liberty to get away from this, like, puppet master, systemic discrimination bullshit. There is a party out there that is there for you. That is the conservative movement. That is the MAGA movement. Clarence Thomas has been preaching this stuff way before I was even alive. Whew. A little energetic this morning, as you can see. You know why? Brutal awakening. You get it? B-R-E-W, brutal. What the hell's brutal awakening? It's the awakening I got this morning because I'm drinking myself some Blackout coffee. I love working with this company, Blackout Coffee. If you want your coffee strong, if you want it brutally strong, Jasmine, you get it? Winky, winky, nod, nod. Here's a bag right here. Smell that. Maximum flavor, smooth, strong, roasted for strength. Blackout Coffee is for you. Blackout Coffee is an America First company. They're proud of that. They roast their beans right in the U.S. and ship them fresh to your door. Their blends are bold, full-bodied, and crafted for people who take their coffee seriously. If you're sitting around laughing about coffee, Brutal Awakening's not for you. Stop. This is not funny, this coffee. It's not, Jasmine. This is not for funny people. This is for coffee drinkers. This is the greatest read ever. Self-praise stinks. But still, their medium dark roast delivers a strong flavor without bitterness. Smooth, powerful, gives you the extra boost you need to stay focused all day. It tastes great, too. I love their subscribe and save option. That way you never run out of coffee. Swap flavors, pause or cancel anytime. Get deep discounts plus free shipping while earning reward points at every purchase so you can redeem them for future orders and save more money. It's convenient, saves you dinero. They have whole bean, ground, flavored coffees, espressos, single serve options, so there's something for everyone. So go to blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Go today. You get 20% off your first order when you use code Bongino. That's blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino, code Bongino. Seriously, check out Brutal Awakening. It's pretty awesome. blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. As you can tell, I'm in a mood. But Donald Trump's been calling this out forever as he openly has pleaded with the minority community to say you are being just taken advantage of by a Democrat party who doesn't give a damn about you. This is pretty well stated by this clip I saw yesterday. I just want to get out on the show. Check this out.
Are we actually in a place where the only way you can be black and stand with your people is to be a Democrat? Now, if that's where we are, we're the dumbest people on the face of the planet. And we're the only people in America who operate that way. You can be white and be a Republican or a Democrat. Hispanic and be a Republican or a Democrat. Praise the Lord. Whatever, and be a Republican or a Democrat. But if you're black, the only way you can be an authentic black person is to be a Democrat. That's stupid. And you know what it means? It means that explains why we spend half the time, or maybe even more, out of power. I've said for years, we need to operate politically, and I want to make this clear, in a way where both parties will compete for our vote. When one party knows that they're going to get your vote no matter what, you get nothing from that party.
Bishop Patrick Wooden, thank you. Some guy posted Vince Colonnese. I never heard of him. He said, I saw this on another amazing podcast. I don't know. I never heard of the guy. He just posted in the chat. Is that the real Vince Colonnese? Of course you know Vince at 8 a.m., but I hope that's the real Vince. Text me, Vince, confirmation that that's actually you. Folks, there's no giving up. Hey, man, serious time, okay? The show's always an emotional roller coaster for me. Even when I'm done, I'm like mentally exhausted. Dan, it's only an hour. So I'm telling you, like, this show is an investment in emotion. There's no giving up. I have been, I'm obsessed with it. I'm not a historian. I don't pretend to be, okay? I just love American history because there are times I say to myself, Jesus, Father God, thank you so much. Like, I am here by, if this is not divine providence, it's not luck. We should not be here. This prosperous, unbelievably wealthy, strong, militarily strong United States with this great president. We shouldn't. There is no way we should have defeated the British Empire in the Revolution. There's no, the math was just, it was like 1,000 to 1. There is no way in, what is it, 1620, the Pilgrims who came here and landed in Plymouth, there is no way they should have survived. There were, what, about 100 of them? I think half of them made it. They shouldn't have even made it. They were infected with the flu. People were dying. They were starving. They had a really rough winter that year. They couldn't figure out how to till the soil. How the hell did they make it? it was just luck. It's not luck, man. How the hell did we beat the British again in 1812? We were saved by like a thunderstorm. We survived 2 world wars, a civil war, the hippies in Vietnam. And we're still growing and even more powerful. You think this is all luck? And you want to give up because after a month of war overseas where we've destroyed the Iranian mullah theocracy, chanting death to America, trying to kill us with nuclear weapons, who tried to bargain with the straight and got it shoved right up their caboose. You're already, I can't believe it, I'm out. I'm not giving up, man. Because whether they were the Pilgrims, people who fought for civil liberties in the Civil War, my uncle who was shot in the back and got a Bronze Star with a V device in Vietnam for saving his buddies, my grandfather who fought in World War II, they dealt with a lot more tough shit than we're dealing with. What are we dealing with? Some guy on Twitter called you an asshole? Like, that's not a thing. Fuck him, pardon my language. Sorry, I'm trying to get away from that. That's not a thing. You know what a thing is? Sitting there in Valley Forge with George Washington, freezing to death, eating shoe leather. Like, that's a thing. They handed you down this amazing country. We're alive at the most prosperous time ever. And there's a bunch of people, black pillars and doomers, talking about, I'm not voting. You know what? You're a piece of shit. I'm sorry. You're a disgrace to your forefathers who fought multiple world wars, trench warfare, mustard gas, had to deal with the potential of the entire world imploding and speaking German after Hitler invaded Poland, and you're giving up because of what? You don't like a mean tweet? Do me a favor. Just check out and renounce your citizenship and move to Uganda or something, because we don't need you. Your loser infection and your loser mentality is going to infect other people too. Your forefathers were people like this video I'm about to play. I saw this yesterday. Did you guys see this video? You want to be inspired? Well, why I always tell you, I'm not giving up. Folks, if we win or lose the midterms, I'm still not giving up. If we win or lose the presidency in 4 years and the midterms, I'm still not giving up. Why? Because I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. There's no giving up. There's only the fight. That's all you have. You have one life. That is it. When you're done, you're done. This is a Marine named Mike Egan. If you haven't seen this video, hat tip Colin Rugg. Marine combat veteran Mike Egan, of course, missing his lower limbs. He's racing for 27 hours, traveling more than 110 miles in a wheelchair at the G1M Ultra. Egan was seen getting out of his wheelchair. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, he has no legs. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, I strongly encourage you to watch this. Egan was seen getting out of his wheelchair at one point due to the mud, the wheelchair getting stuck in the mud.
You're good.
The Go One More Ultra is a race which contestants run a 4+ mile loop every hour on the hour until only one person remains. Egan placed in the top 28, outlasting 117 people with no legs. Just watch. You want to give up? Oh, someone tweeted at me.
You are amazing.
I'm upset.
Keep it up.
We lost the congressional race. Donald Trump put a tweet up. It's really mean. Look at this guy. He had no legs. He doesn't have legs. He lost his limbs. He's a Marine combat veteran. And he outlasted 117 people in an endurance race without even his own wheelchair. Yeah, light that chat up with American flags. You're damn right. That American flag means something, folks. It's not a freaking tablecloth, okay? We have one in the background for a reason. It's the idea of the flag that matters. It's not the fabric. I don't care what it's made out of. It can be made out of paper. Kids draw American flags on pieces of paper. It's the idea that matters. That guy, Mike Egan, is the idea. Clarence Thomas is the idea. Clarence Thomas didn't even have a bed growing up. I heard this morning he slept in a chair. And he was a Supreme Court justice. You want to give up because what? Donald Trump sent out a mean tweet? You want to give up because what? Oil, gas prices were up $1 while we went and deposed of a nuclear threat in Iran. Now they're down $10 per barrel. You want to give up? I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up on squat. And I know you're not either. I did give a lot up. I gave up my job to go run for office. I gave up my job again to go back into government for the first year of the Trump administration. I'm not asking anybody for any pats on the back. That's just what you do. People have sacrificed 1,000 times more than I have. I live a good life. I'm not struggling out there. I don't deserve any extra praise. I'm just telling you, like, there's no excuse for that shit. Just go look up what the fighting in Bastogne at the Battle of the Bulge in World War II, what these guys went through. And you're giving up because Donald Trump sent out a mean tweet. Bullshit. He ain't doing that. Man, that chat's on fire today. And I'm going to tell you something else. It's really starting to exhaust me. I mean, we've made a joke out of it to kind of use sarcasm as a tactical Alinsky-like weapon in this show, because when you poke fun at these other idiots, they have no natural comeback. Every single time Donald Trump outfoxes one of them in some strategic decision they said he didn't have in his head, I've been in a room with him. He takes in everybody's opinion, synthesizes it into an output, and a good amount of the time, he makes a very effective leadership decision. Don't tell me what it's. I was there. I wasn't there every day with the guy. I don't want to be dramatic. But you're in the sit room, maybe once a week or so, with him or his team, and you see how they synthesize information. He's not lucky, okay? He's just good. You can say he's lucky. Lucky Trump did it again in the street. What is a sound effect now? Look at this. That's for the Apple and Spotify folks. But if this guy's lucky, how is it that so many people are just falling for it? So many people, they're just lucky Donald Trump. Now, we've heard from Podcastistan, right? I didn't make that up. I did not make that up. I know it's fun. Justin's laughing. I didn't make it. We've seen from Podcastistan that Donald Trump has made some horrendous decisions over the last few months. We have no real evidence of that now that we've seen the situation in Iran, Maduro, inflation coming down to PPI, inflation. We've seen it all working in his direction, correct? Tax returns going up, your tax refunds, more money in people's pockets. We've been told he's losing, folks, everywhere. He's just lucky to be holding on to it. Really? Here is our favorite CNN pollster. I don't know how this guy's not been fired yet. Here's Harry Enton at CNN. Yes, CNN, not Fox. Here he is on a poll. And why do I say this is an important group of people he's polling? Harry Enton in this clip. This is why I'm putting it after Clarence Thomas. Nothing's by accident. I played Clarence Thomas, then I played the clip of that preacher, telling black voters, do not monopolistically vote for one party. Make them go get you. There is no group of people in America that does that better than seniors. None. So the seniors watching my show, one, thank you for your service, many of you, and World War II, very few alive, but Vietnam and elsewhere, Afghanistan, Iraq, thank you all. Thank you to the seniors who built this country. I hate this mentality now, hey, boomers on. But shove that up your ass. These guys did more. You kidding me? They lived a really tough life for you. My grandparents survived the Depression, fought in World War II. Thank God for them. Seniors vote. They vote all the time, like everywhere. And you know what happens? Politicians spend an unusual amount of money courting seniors because they vote. And you know what? When a senior who's a 4x4 voter, and you can tell that. You can't tell we have a secret ballot. So I can't tell if I'm a congressman who you voted for, but I know you voted and I know your party registration. So if a senior, John Smith, calls Congressman Joey Bag of Donuts, they looked him up right away. Folks, trust me, this happens. Any staffer will tell you this. Wow, this is a senior who's a registered Republican who's voted in the last 4 primaries and last 4 general elections, a 4x4. Trust me when I tell you, you're getting instant results from your congressman. Seniors vote. So if seniors who are high propensity voters vote, and Donald Trump he sucks, he's doing everything wrong, this is terrible, he's being abandoned, Podcastistan said it's true, then how come Donald Trump is performing historically better than any other president at this point amongst the same said group of people, seniors, receipts incoming?
I'll answer your question, Mr. Berman, and that is because President Trump is more than holding his own amongst a very large portion of the electorate, a very reliable voting bloc, and that is senior citizens. Take a look here, okay? Trump's approval rating age 65 plus. In March of 2025, 46%. Look at where it is now. It's basically the same. Seniors have not moved. He's at 44% now. And the key nugget here is, for all this talk about young people in the electorate, such as myself, or at least I like to include myself in that block, it turns out that older voters, senior citizens, vote in far larger numbers. So Republicans look at this number and they say, hey, you know what? We can actually potentially do some real damage, or at least hold our own in the midterms, because President Trump is holding his own with this very important voting bloc.
It's got to be CNN. They've turned pro-Trump. Harry Anton's clearly lying because CNN's now the pro-Trump. The Podcastistan tell us otherwise. They don't laugh. They did, right? They told us it's over. Everybody's abandoning Donald Trump, except you have no actual data to back that up. Didn't we put up that poll yesterday from Quinnipiac? Quinnipiac, no pro-Trump polling outlet. Trump's approval rating amongst the Republicans, 88%. 88%? I thought it was down to like 10. I thought that's what you told us. Put up the Wall Street Journal headline again. Here's lucky Trump strikes again. He's just lucky with the seniors. He's just lucky on the PPI numbers, the producer's price index, inflation coming down there. He's just lucky on the Straits of Hormuz again. Oh, look, oil prices fall after Iran says the Straits open. The Dow is now up, looking at the Fox screen now, 1,000 points. It's not down. No, it's up at the... I thought everything was collapsing. We're closing in again on Dow 50,000. Man, this guy's lucky. Josh, he's lucky. Josh just walked out. Josh, how lucky is he? Way too lucky. There it is. Thank you, Justin. Quinnipiac, Republicans only, President Trump approval, 88%. Lucky Trump with sound effects, strikes again. I saw our good friend MAGA Kitty on Twitter put that out again. Folks, can we make that a thing? Make sure you put the air quotes on it. On Twitter, every time a good story breaks. Lucky Trump strikes again. Can we do that? Can we make that a thing? Just to make a fool out of these idiots. This is the luckiest guy I've ever seen. Even if that was true, it is not. Again, give me the lucky winner rather than the unlucky loser. Who the hell wants to hang around the unlucky loser? Who's the guy in the Bronx Tale? Is it Mush, the guy who's unlucky and every time? Remember they bet on the horse and the race isn't even over and they find out that guy's his name Mush? Tell me in the chat. And they're like, go number 3 or whatever. And everybody's like, oh shit. They throw the thing away because they know Mush. This is like the swamp. They're the Mush guy from A Bronx Tale. Donald Trump is that Deadpool number 2 mutant lady, and that's her power. It's like he's lucky all the time. Is that Mush? Someone in the chat got to help me. We got 55,000 people. It is Mush, right? Someone said, who's that who said that? Hold on, I got to give. Shame says, we've been mushed. Is that it? Okay, good. I need you guys out there. This is the luckiest guy I've ever seen. Here's lucky Trump striking again. Short clip here from CNBC. Again, no big pro-Trump outlet, correct? CNBC. Here's CNBC where Rick Santelli's stunned. They were expecting like a negative number about this manufacturing index. Good, right? United States manufacturing, producing a lot of stuff. Not only is the number not negative, it's really positive. Lucky Trump strikes again. It's like magic, this guy. Check this out.
Fed business outlook. Now that's the manufacturing side of the equation. It comes in at minus, I'm sorry, I'm reading, it comes in at 26.7. No minus there. That's 2.5 times what we expected. We're looking for a number around 10. Empire yesterday was quite strong as well. 26.7. Wow. That would be the best level since January of 25, since Jan of 25. Really have to go back. And I know that, Joe, you've been paying very close attention and talking to many of the people on the Hill about what's going on with manufacturing. Many believe, we're not really making an impact. It's a long runway to actually bring it onshore. But what we have noticed is the last jobs report. We've seen a pickup of manufacturing jobs. We've seen empire filling. Now, I know in many ways this is anecdotal, but, that's the way many big issues start, as anecdotal evidence. So we want to pay close attention to that.
Thank you, chat. Elite Super Grunt says, and thank you for the character in Deadpool is Domino. I forget. I'm sorry. Donald Trump is Domino. That's Donald Trump. That's his superpower. He's just lucky all the time. It's amazing. It's like a mutation Donald Trump has. And then Donald Trump for you says, wow, the harder I work, the luckier I get. It's kind of like Donald Trump does the same thing. The guy sleeps. He's got some other sleep mutation. He sleeps 4 hours a night. I'm not recommending it. I have to sleep 7 or 8 or else I fall apart. Jasmine knows that. I come in and Dan didn't sleep. You can tell right away. They're not Trump. Guy sleeps 4 hours a night. He's in his office all day, takes meetings all day. He's in Vegas today, traveling around the world. The guy's in his second term. Usually by now, people are coasting. Let me tell you a story. Second term presidents, I was the whip in TS, the transportation section of the Secret Service. Second term Bush, I'm not knocking anyone personally. I'm just saying what they usually do is they start engaging in world tours at this point because they want a legacy. This guy's still working. He knows he's termed out. He can just sit there and do the whole presidential routine. And what is he doing? He's rebuilding the White House, getting inflation under control, rebuilding manufacturing, shutting down the border, safest America we've ever seen, takes out the Iranian mullahs, advancing the Abraham Accords, trying to get peace in 8 world wars. He gets Maduro out of Venezuela, takes control basically of our hemisphere through the Venezuelan oil. This guy, all he's got to do is sit down and let his people do it. And he's still doing it and everybody's still complaining. He's Domino. He's lucky. He's lucky. And then the black pillars and the doomers from Podcastistan. The black pillars and the doomers, when he's not lucky, when he's not Domino, he's just a puppet. He's definitely a puppet. Donald Trump. Now, I'm going to tell you, the lucky line is dumb enough. Claiming Donald Trump is anybody's puppet, you're a hand job. You are just really stupid. You're like Odd Job from James Bond. You're like Hand Job. You're like Odd Job, but you're just dumber. Do you have any idea how dumb that sounds? Anyone who's even met Donald Trump for 5 minutes, no disrespect intended, this cat is the alpha. Even when he comes in for the handshake, he does the dominant handshake? He comes in from the sky level to make sure he's in charge. You don't have, and he pulls you in. And he's a big guy too. Donald Trump's a big guy. He pulls you in and stares you right in the eye. Total alpha male style. You don't have to like it. I'm just telling you, if you ever meet him, it's true. So it kind of pisses me off a little bit when he's not Domino and is not lucky that this guy's definitely a puppet. Who's been pumping that out there? Again, Podcastistan. You got Joe Kent, falsely claiming he was some kind of big decision maker at NCTC. He was not in the room with President Trump. Folks, I was the deputy director of the FBI. I was in the room with President Trump, I think twice. Most of the time I was at the White House. I was in there in what they call a DC, a deputies committee. And they have a PC, a principals committee. That's how it works. He was not in there for war planning with President Trump. Joe Kent's entitled to his opinion. I thank him for his service to the country. I do. Took a lot of bravery. But that doesn't mean that what Joe Kent is telling you is right. A lot of people serve the country honorably. It doesn't give you a truth pass forever. He was not in the room for this stuff, meaning he doesn't know. Why is that important? Because Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, who I promise you is in the room for just about everything, given the intersection of national defense, Pete is in there all the time, Secretary Hegseth. The secretary was asked a question yesterday about Joe Kent and being in the room and Donald Trump a puppet and all this stuff. I think Pete's answer was pretty fantastic. Donald Trump is nobody's puppet. Check this out.
Director Joe Kent have attempted to claim that the Trump administration's policy of zero enrichment for the Iranians is not actually President Trump's policy, but was foisted upon him by the Israelis. Looking back, doing a bit of a refresher for myself, I saw that zero enrichment was the Trump State Department's policy in the first admin.
Let me just stop for a second. As someone who, unlike the individual you referenced, is in the presence of the president nearly every day and has been inside every single key meeting that has happened surrounding the idea of Operation Epic Fury, not a single thing has been foisted upon the President of the United States. President Trump makes his own decisions about the interests of this country and defending our interests, and then working with allies and partners, in this case, Israel, who's got a lot of will and a lot of capabilities, which we're grateful for. Nothing gets foisted on President Trump. So those people who are not in those meetings who like to say things about that are just flat wrong.
They are flat wrong. You want some more proof? Here's an account I like, OSINT Defender on X. So Donald Trump's a puppet for Netanyahu. You know how dumb that sounds? You know how stupid you look right now? Here's a tweet that just went out. The Israeli government ministers were outraged by today's announcement of a ceasefire with Lebanon, which was revealed on Truth Social by President Trump, who gave Israel's consent to the ceasefire before it could be approved by the Israeli Security Cabinet, according to this news outlet. I'm not telling you got to like the decision. I'm not talking about the decision to make to engage in a ceasefire with Lebanon or not. Forget that for a second. You can argue that all day. I'm talking about the premise that Kent and others, I don't have any personal beef with Joe. I know Joe. Got a decorated history with the United States in his military service, which is honorable. But that doesn't make him right. If Donald Trump's a puppet of the Israeli, he's a really shitty puppet. He's the only puppet that's ever sent the puppet strings in reverse. You're just making it up. Donald Trump is America first. If the Israelis or the Pakistanis, there's a number of parties involved in this, want to align with the America First vision and help us, he will take their help. If they don't, he's going to do it himself. Stop lying. It really is, folks. It's sickening. It's like, I swear, I've never seen a guy, the Israeli puppet masters, and yet the Israelis seem to be upset when Donald Trump doesn't do what they don't want him to do because he's doing what's in the interest of what he perceives to be America, whether you agree with it or not. So then we move on, of course, from here's the evolution of TDS, this infection, this Trump derangement syndrome infection that is very real. Okay, it may not be an actual protein code virus, but I promise you it's real. First, he's lucky. If he's not lucky, he's a puppet. Then if he's not a puppet, he's just freaking insane and crazy, and we should get him out of office. You doubt me? Here's this lunatic, Jamie Raskin. I want you to hat tip the great Maze Moore on X, Mazemore. Follow, great follow, fantastic, especially if you're in this space. Best show prep out there. He should charge, Maze Moore. Maze, I'll start a business with you. You're fantastic. Here, this is Jamie Raskin, crazy Democrat congressman. Here's the evolution of TDS. First, he's lucky. Then he's a puppet. Then he's crazy. You can't just say he's good. You can't say, God forbid you say that. Here's Raskin first in 2018 when Biden's mental fitness came into it. That's crazy. Here's Raskin saying, we can't be arguing about that 25th Amendment. Biden, who seriously had some serious mental issues going on, Donald Trump does not. So he doesn't want to talk about that. And then when it comes to Donald Trump, he completely flips his position with no actual evidence of cognitive deficit that Biden actually had. Check this out.
The president is dangerous and unable to successfully meet the powers and duties of office. We got serious stuff to deal with, and instead we're caught up every day in what looks like the country debating the mental health of the president. So it's a very dangerous and unstable situation. What is our institutional responsibility as the U.S. Congress? And we've got that under the 25th Amendment.
People see his age as something that helps explain some of his wisdom and some of his compassion. The kind of compassion you see not just within his family, but outside of it. That compassion for people in his family, which is real and authentic, becomes solidarity for everybody in the country who's struggling, as well as for people around the world.
I mean, it's taken us, 2.5 centuries to get to a president who
is imposing this kind of stress on our constitutional system. But the closest thing we have to deal with a situation like this is Section 4 of the 25th Amendment.
Thank you, Vince, for confirming that was you, by the way. Vince texted me, so. That is the evolution of TDS. If you don't catch the infection early at the Trump is lucky stage, it evolves to the puppet stage, which then evolves to he's crazy. Notice he's never good, ever. Despite mounds of evidence we've put out on the show just in the last few days. Producers' price index, jobs reports, inflation numbers, the straits. It doesn't matter. He's just lucky. It's a puppet. He's definitely crazy. Folks, I titled the show today, The Dems Sinister Plot. I probably should have. It was my idea. I don't like that title. I don't like clickbait titles, but it is a sinister plot. Maybe that was too harsh of a word. But this is really important. You understand what they're doing right now? I'm going to take a quick break, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. Because this is regarding elections and the theft of elections, national, local, all of it. If you don't understand this next 5-minute segment about what they're doing, you're going to get your electoral nuts kicked in. You have to understand this. It ties in immigration, demographic destiny, redistricting, all of it. Quick break. Don't miss this next segment. Spread this around as a warning, because if we win this, we could be in charge for 2-3 decades. If we lose, we may never win an election again. Folks, hiring can feel like searching for a needle in a haystack with piles of applications, emails, and follow-ups consuming valuable time before you ever meet the right person. Use ZipRecruiter. It is so easy to use. It is really quick. It'll save you time, and time is money. If you're hiring, here's good news. Stop wasting time. You can review all of those resumes and applications really fast thanks to ZipRecruiter. It works. ZipRecruiter has a new feature. It instantly shows you the most interested, qualified candidates first. That way you're not wasting a lot of time. And today you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Bongino. This is a great company. ZipRecruiter's matching technology helps connect you with qualified candidates quickly without sorting. And with ZipRecruiter's new feature, qualified candidates who are very interested in your job show up at the top of the list. I can't say this enough. Time is money. It's an opportunity cost of time. Don't waste it. Candidates can share in their own words why they're excited about your position. So you get a sense of personality before the interview even starts. Cut through the standard and get to the standouts. You want the standouts. Use ZipRecruiter. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Bongino. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Bongino. Meet your match today on ZipRecruiter. Thank you, ZipRecruiter. Check them out. ZipRecruiter.com/Bongino. Don't waste time. Okay. You need to understand this. This is a 5-minute tutorial on the Democrats' sinister plot to engage in open border demographic destiny to make sure they're never out of power for the next 2 generations. Folks, we're going to focus on 2 specific things. First, the House of Representatives, your local congressman, okay? The Senate races are obviously decided statewide. However, those are important too. The Senate races. However, congressional races are decided by congressional districts. The Democrats want open borders because they need people to flood back in the country so they can manipulate the census, because people are evacuating blue states. When people leave blue states and move to red states get more members of the House of Representatives because it's based on population. Population grows, you get more congressmen. When you get more congressmen, you also get more electoral college votes for the presidency. The presidency, I'm sorry for Civics 101, but there are some liberals here. The presidency is not a national election vote. It is a series of state votes. The popular vote does not determine who the president is, okay? It is decided by the Electoral College. You win a state, you get their Electoral College votes. If a state has 25 Electoral College votes, that means they had 23 congressmen plus their 2 senators. That's how you get the Electoral College votes. Okay, good, get it, got it, good. I know most of you know that. Now, there are a couple things going on right now. We got the Save America Act, which would implement voter ID, which would cut off the cheating. We know about that. We got to push on that hard. But also, I want you to see this tweet by Eric Daughtry. This is why the Democrats are freaking out. And this is why they cannot have the SAVE Act go through. The SAVE Act goes through and it eliminates cheating. The Democrats are in trouble. If the redistricting in 2030, which is right around the corner, goes the way we think it's going to go, every 10 years, there's a census count and there's a redistricting that goes on. They're looking at Eric Daughtry tweet, it's massive. Democrats are staring down a devastating electoral college loss of 14 net seats in the 2030 census. This will severely constrain their ability to win the House and presidency. Florida, Texas, Idaho, Utah are going to gain. California, New York, Illinois, Rhode Island are going to lose. If they don't count illegal aliens in this, which I hope happens, this is why the Democrats are fighting so hard to get illegal aliens into the country and to count them, it's going to be even worse. The Democrats will not be able to win the House of Representatives, and they will not be able to win the presidency by pure math. They do not have enough electoral college votes and members in Republican districts if people start flooding out of blue states in the numbers they are now, and the Democrats don't replace them with illegals. So now you have the redistricting problem. This is for the Democrats. They're going to lose seats and electoral college votes. You also have the problem of the Save America Act, which at some point I hope we get through. I'm with Mike Lee. Dump this filibuster and get it through. That'd stop the cheating, which would make it even worse. Third, if we can get illegals not counted, which they shouldn't be, in the next census, the problem's even worse. There is no scenario by which this works out for the Democrats. Then you have, I'll go a little bit out of order. Put up that OSC tweet. Here's another problem they have. There is a Supreme Court case pending now that is not going very well for the Democrats on the Voting Rights Act that they may lose because the Democrats want to racially gerrymander districts. If they lose that case, which looks likely, but I don't want to get out ahead of myself, here's the current map, 65 Republican, and in these districts they're talking about, 65 Republicans, 24 Democrats. If they lose this case, it'll be 77 Republicans and 12 Democrats. That's what the map down in the Southeast would look like, the current map and the plausible scenario if they lose this case. Notice it's all red. They are in a world of trouble. Why do I not give up? Because what are we giving up on? We're living in the golden age of politics. And in case you doubt me, this clip is a couple years old, but we keep it evergreen. This is Representative Yvette Clarke from, I think, New York. She is talking, she's a Democrat. She's discussing this exact problem the Democrats have, that because people are evacuating blue states and blue districts like hers, once it shrinks below a certain number, her congressional seat disappears and it gets added to Florida. She's like, hey, man, I'll take some of these illegals in my district. This is a couple years old, but I just want you, this is when the Democrats say the quiet part out loud. Why am I not giving up? Well, if you're a Democrat, you should be the one giving up. There's nothing looking good for you on this front. Check this out.
From Brooklyn, New York, we have a diaspora that can absorb a significant number of these migrants. And when I hear colleagues talk about, the doors of the inn being closed, no room in the inn, I'm saying, I need more people in my district, but just for redistricting purposes. And those members could clearly fit here.
Of course they could fit there. They would save your congressional seat and your electoral college vote for the presidency. Do you understand why Democrats constantly lobby for open borders? Folks, I promise you, if you put into, I'm not suggesting anyone should do this. If you put into the law, we will let everyone in illegally, but they have to vote Republican. The Democrats would be for closing the border tomorrow. That's ridiculous. However, it's true. This has nothing to do with anything other than electoral power. They don't care about immigrants. If you're an immigrant, they don't give a damn about you. They don't care. You are nothing but a tool for them. Listen, we've got serious problems ahead. All right? This is time for serious people. You've got the drone issue we're still trying to figure out in warfare. You've got the quantum computing AI developments. You've got super sophisticated AI-driven malware. You've got flaws in our industrial control systems where foreign actors in a cyber attack could shut down our grid if we don't act quickly. You've got space weapons, satellite weapons, hypersonic missiles. We have real problems to deal with. This is no time for clowns and jokers and goons and freaking doomers. The AI threat really worries me. It worries me because we don't understand it. I saw this clip on Konstantin Kissin's show. Who's the guy, Justin? What's his name? Roman Yampolsky. I want you to pay very close attention to this clip about AI. Here's the problem in analyzing AIs. We don't know how it does what it does and how it's going to evolve if it ever is to develop into a superintelligence or AGI. I told you a story one time about it. Imagining a superintelligence is impossible because you can't imagine it. It's like when when I was living in my old house. You know, my dog, Lucy, I'm more intelligent than Lucy, and so the dumbest human being on planet Earth is light years ahead of Lucy, the dog. Lucy go out in the yard every day. One day a bird died in the yard. And I threw the bird out, threw it in the garbage. It was dead. So Lucy, who'd been running around in the yard forever, but she's a dog. She has no advanced reasoning powers. Of course, she runs right to the corner to smell where the dead bird was. I freak out because I don't want that all over her nose, dead bird blood. I'm like, Lucy! And Lucy looks up to me so scared. I love this guy, that big dog named Dane. She probably thinks I'm a big dog. Why is he yelling at me? I've been in this spot 1,000 times. She doesn't know. You can't explain to Lucy a bird died there. There's probably germs there. I don't want you to get sick. She doesn't know. The problem is us developing some AGI superintelligence. You have no idea what it's going to do. That is just elegantly explained in this clip here. This is what worries me about AI and why we need serious people in charge. From this Konstantin Kissin show. This guy explains it really well. Check this out.
How will AI destroy humanity?
That's a great question. And what you're doing is you're asking me how I would destroy humanity. And I have many good ideas. But it's not what a super intelligent system would do. It's capable of coming up with new weapons, new physics, new poisons. Example I frequently use is squirrels versus humans. It's a big cognitive gap. Squirrels have no concept of how we can kill them all. They don't know about guns. They don't know about traps. It's outside of their world model. Likewise, I cannot tell you how superintelligence would specifically go about it, but there are many game theoretic reasons for why it's a good idea not to have competing species, not to have humans create another superintelligence. Maybe it just wants to do something with this environment and doesn't care about us.
But I guess the question would be, in terms of your certainty, why you believe that AI, if it becomes artificial general intelligence, why it would hurt human beings? What would be the way that you think that would happen?
So what I kind of started saying, it's not because it hates you, because it wants to do something else and it doesn't care about you. So maybe it wants to cool down the whole planet to improve how efficient compute is. Just it's more capable of doing computation in a colder environment. So if it freezes the whole planet, we die. Does it care about it? No, it doesn't matter. Maybe it wants to convert this planet into a fuel, fly to another galaxy. I'm giving kind of hypotheticals which are not grounded in anything, but the point is it just doesn't have any built-in concern about your safety, your well-being.
Yes, we're asking all the wrong questions about AI. Like, why would it hate us? It doesn't have the capacity to hate or love. It's not a human being with God-given emotions. It only has the power to engage in what it thinks is reason. Folks, we don't have time to be dicking around, man, with a clown show. I'd rather have the lucky guy in charge who wins and gets it and takes advice from smart people, given the quantum issue, hypersonic, space weapons, and all of this stuff, rather than a bunch of dipshits who are unlucky and lose all the time. This stuff is happening now. It's not 5 years away. It's not 10 years away. It is the now, the right now. You know, one of the things about this show I always wanted to make a little bit different than others is, folks, the essence of conservatism, and I consider myself a conservative, kind of a conservatarian, but conservative first, is the education component. we've got an election coming up, and the whole idea about conservatism is that we conserve really timeless good ideas. The problem is we've lost the education system. So many people believe so many stupid things because they've been taught it by educators that it's like hard to suck them out of the intellectual doldrums. When I was running for office, I think it was my Senate race in Maryland, I remember being out in a school in Western Maryland. The dad was a campaign volunteer, and his daughter went to the school, and the school was like, hey, you want to come in? And I was like, okay. So I'm in this history class, and I'm looking at the back, and they have these poster boards up. And on the poster boards is a whole bunch of laudatory, like how FDR saved us from the Great Depression, how the government came in and saved us from the Great Depression. And I couldn't believe it. Like, I'm reading this, like, these are impressionable kids who this is like postered on the back of them, literally. Like, they're going to read this every day and think this is true. Why wouldn't they? The teacher told them. That's not what happened. It's like retelling the story of the civil rights movement and making the Democrats, who were the goats, like the goats, not the greatest of all time, the heroes. They were the bad guys. I'm not blaming Democrats now but that's just a fact. Tell people the truth. The Great Depression was exacerbated by government intervention. If the government just would have left it alone, it would have been the Depression or the recession. It's called the Great Depression because the government tried to fix it. Don't let your kids believe otherwise. It is an anchor theory of modern progressivism that FDR was some superhero. Here, check out this minute clip by Thomas Sowell. It's a Thomas Sowell quotes account on X. Some of this stuff is really great. Check this out.
There's this narrative out there that the reason we had massive unemployment in the 30s was because the market failed, the stock market crashed, and you had all this tremendous unemployment. Now, it so happens that for the 12 months following the stock market crash, we never hit double digits in unemployment. Unemployment peaked at 9% 2 months after the stock market crash and started going down. So the unemployment rate was down to 6.3% when the federal government figured it had to intervene. And that's when the downward movement reversed, and we never saw 6.3% again for the next decade. So, I mean, if you follow the actual month-by-month employment numbers, it's just clear as crystal that the disaster came after federal intervention.
I just get tired of malevolent bullshit history being shoved down our kids' throats so they believe government is going to come and save you one day, and they're like the benevolent puppet master. Cut the strings, man. Do your own homework. Timeless wisdom from Thomas Sowell. That's at Daily Soul on X. Check it out. Some of those are just fantastic. Does facts and data even matter? So, folks, Paul and I are going through something right now. It's no big deal. I don't want to be like, I'm okay. I'm not like dying or anything. It's not a health thing. But, Paul and I have been going through a lot, and we had kind of a rough day yesterday, really rough day. So if I have to take some time next week, I will have a guest host for you. I'm not sure about that yet. I don't know. I'm still waiting to hear some things. I will put it out on my X or my True Social account if I have to, but I will have a guest host if I have to take a day or two. I don't know. Unfortunately, this was not expected. However, I saw this, hug your loved ones, like hug them, like really hug them. Hug them and tell them why you're hugging them, Like, don't just hug them and give me a hug. Like, tell them why, I'm not writing a parenting book. It's not a 12-step program. I mean, I'm as flawed a human being as anyone else, but I try to give my daughter 2 hugs every day before I go to bed at night, before she leaves for school. I actually missed her today because they were running late. So what I do, I called my wife in the car, and she put her on speaker in the car, and I made sure, they need to hear that. It's not so much even for you. It's just for them. They really need to hear that. Hug them. Like, really hug them. And make sure they know why. And sometimes I make the mistake. I say to my daughter, love you. That's a mistake. Say, I love you. I, me. Don't abbreviate it. I love you. Unconditionally. I love you. So I saw this piece in the Wall Street Journal. Wall Street Journal, yeah, no, because it's important. It's relevant to this yesterday. I had a guest on my show a long time ago who wrote a book. I have no financial interest in this book, folks, at all. It's the author's a guy by the name of Hugh Ross, and he wrote a book. He's an astrophysicist. I had him as a guest on my show one time. And the book is called Why the Universe is the Way It Is. And if you don't believe in God, that's certainly your God-given right, ironically, especially in a free country like ours. But I suggest you read the book. What the heck does astrophysics have to do with God? Folks, our universe is so unbelievably elegantly tuned that there is just no way it wasn't designed by an intelligent designer, far more intelligent than, oh, there's the book. I can't recommend this book enough. It's an easy read. You don't have to be a physicist. You'll find out if gravity was off by just a smidge, the whole place would collapse. If gravity was not strong enough, the whole universe would just keep expanding at a rate that would make it uninhabitable. If we weren't in this exact spot, Earth that is, in the universe, we wouldn't be able to see the entirety of what we're able to see. It's almost like God gave us this spot so we could see the majesty of what he created. Well, the Wall Street Journal had a piece about this yesterday. Apparently there's a movie coming out. I was unaware of this movie, but I read this in the op-ed section like I do every night. There's some movie coming out called The Story of Everything, and it's about God and creation. And they note that the movie turns to the discovery in recent decades of what they call fine-tuning. The universe possesses a long list of properties, each of which must be just so. If gravity were infinitesimally stronger, all matter would have collapsed back in on itself. But if gravity were infinitesimally weaker, stars and galaxies would have never been formed. To support life, Earth itself must just lie the right distance from the sun, project just the right magnetic field, project just the right gravity to hold in place an atmosphere of just the right density, and so on and so on. I don't believe in luck. God's not domino. I promise. Read the book. Read the article. It's by Peter Robinson. It's in yesterday's op-ed column. I haven't seen this movie, so I can't vouch for it or not, but I assume it's about the same thing. It's not luck. It's not luck. So again, grab your loved ones. Tell them, I love you. Think about them. And just remember this, too. I saw this yesterday, too. That when you're down and out, and I forget politics for a minute, but just life in general. I'm not your preacher, but I've been through a lot. That cancer thing scared the hell out of me. You don't want to die. And I think that's fairly obvious, but you don't think, nobody goes through life thinking like, I don't want to die until you sense like an expiration date. Then all of a sudden you really don't want to die. Who wakes up in the morning, I don't want to die today. Nobody thinks like that until you're told like you have a disease that could kill you. And then you're like, man, I really don't want to die. It's a scary thing. So I saw this video yesterday. It was just not by chance. I think someone made sure I saw this video. And it was this monk talking about how when you think everything is terrible in your life, and you think you have 1,000 problems, when your life is flashing before you, whether it's a crime, a disease, you don't have 1,000 problems. You have one. That's staying alive. That'll focus you real quick. I want you to listen to this. Check this out.
You mean any sports? Like
any sport. Okay. So sport is already good. Ultimately meaning take care of the body. Because, there is a nice saying. As long as your body is healthy, you have thousands of problems. Yeah, but in the moment your body gets sick, you have one problem.
That's really true. Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Yeah. So that's why I mean first of all, before like tackling everything, yeah, so how to build up your life and how to whatever do, make sure your body stays healthy. If the body is not healthy, you don't need to worry about anything else. So respect, take care, and love your body. Nourish your body, nourish yourself in such a way that you understand it's something right now very, very precious to have. Okay, this is number one.
I cannot emphasize that to you enough. That's why I tell you, like, grab them, tell them you love them. Love yourself. I mean that. Like, I don't mean it in some weird kind of way. Like, take care of yourself too, because we all have an expiration date. But when you know it, you get pretty focused pretty fast. Just think about that. I really appreciate it, folks. You all are the, without a doubt, the best audience in this business. You guys have been with me through thick and thin, and there's been a lot of thick and a lot of thin. It's been 10 years, and it's just such an honor to be able to get on this microphone every day and talk to this stadium full of people who choose to be here. Thanks for spreading the word around the show. I'm not going to run any, I just want to, it's time for me to just, wow. So hopefully I will be back with you on Monday. Either way, we will have a guest host if I can't be here, and I will let you know on X. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.